All right, guys, so I am super excited to bring you the second video in this series, basically doing makeup looks on all my friends. So today we have Farah, and I am just starting with a MAC makeup wipe just to get everything nice and clean and exfoliated. Then I am going in with a little bit of the Embryo Lease Moisturizer, and I like to warm it up on the back of my hand to sort of like thin it out and then smooth it all over the face. I also went in with a little bit of the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream, and I'll use my ring finger because it is the finger with the least amount of pressure, so it doesn't tug at the delicate under eye skin. I also went in with MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance, and this just gives a little more glow to the skin and kind of smooths everything out. So this is the star of the show. This is the Laura Mercier eye stick. This is like the caviar stick, and this is in the color Khaki, so it's like this beautiful olivey kind of khaki green with a really nice shimmer to it. And as you can see, I'm just messily applying it all over the lid and then smoothing it out with a synthetic blending brush. I usually use synthetic brushes with cream products. They just they don't absorb as much of the product, and they're also a little bit easier to clean. Now this is really an optional step, but I went in with the NARS Duo eyeshadow. It's a Nouveau Monde. It's like a silver and a green, and I basically just mix those two colors together and set it over the caviar stick. Then I just blend all of the edges so it's nice and fluffy. And I actually took a little bit of a bronzer. This is the NARS. This is one of the newer bronzers. And I put that right into the crease. So that way it just makes the edges really smooth and flowy. And it kind of makes the gradient just look a little more easy on the eyes. Moving into foundation. These are two Arbonne foundations that I'm blending together. It doesn't really matter what color because I just naturally want to match Farah's neck and décolleté. So you might need to go a little darker in the summer if you get more sun on your chest or your neck. Most of the times people put sunblock just on their face, and then they get darker on their chest. So you kind of have to darken your face to match your chest, is what I'm trying to say. And then everything is just blended in with a synthetic brush. And then here is a little concealing. I'm mixing two colors together, vanilla and creme brulee, and this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, which I absolutely love. And then I'm just tapping it in with my blending sponge just to make everything look really seamless. And I want a little highlight under the eye, but I don't want it to look like super stark. I want it to look rather natural. So I'm going in with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder with a big fluffy brush just to make sure everything is set in place and nothing is going to move. I do find you have to have a very light hand with this product, otherwise you can end up looking a little chalky. So that was a really bad demonstration of the product, but this is the NARS new liquid blush. This is in the color Orgasm, and it's like this peachy, pinky, shimmery color similar to their powder blush in Orgasm. And I'm using a synthetic brush just to lightly blend that over the cheeks and kind of high on the cheekbones so you can really take advantage of that shimmer. This is a little bit of an eyeliner that is the same color as the caviar stick. You could also use the caviar stick. I just happen to have this eyeliner, and this is a L'Oreal one in the color Green Ivy, and I just put that under the eyes. Now fast forwarding to the brows and just taking a little check-in, and so far Farah likes it, so that's good. This is the IT Cosmetics brow pencil that I love, and I use it on everyone. It is a universal brow pencil, and it is a universal brow pencil. Farah's brows are already pretty good, but I always find like you need a little bit of shaping and kind of just like perfecting once you do your eyes, especially if you do like a heavier look. And then I set it in place with a little bit of the Maybelline Brow Gel. So I'm just dusting a little bit of finishing powder over Farah's skin, and then we're going to move on to a little more blush and kind of finalizing. So now everything's starting to come together, so I'm just kind of zhuzhing in the crease, and I did put a little bit of black liner on Farah's eyes, like just on the top, and this was because I knew I was going to put these false lashes on, so that way it would help to conceal the band. So as you can see, I'm just placing the lashes down using my tweezers, making sure my glue is nice and tacky so I don't have to struggle with it. And then we'll go to the other eye and just kind of pressing everything in place. You want to make sure the lash band is right on the natural lash line, as close to the lashes as possible, and not so much on the lid. So basically you're gluing the band to your natural lashes. And then I'll go in with a little mascara and just kind of lift the natural lashes into the false lashes, so that way you don't see two rows of lashes and they look a little more natural, even though this is a pretty glam set. And then I'm doing a little bit of mascara on the bottom lashes as well, and I hold my brush vertically so that I can get each lash. So now it is time for the lips, and I'm using the lip liner in Spice, which when I took a second look, I said, you know, that's a little warm. I like it, but it's a little bit warm. So I cooled it down with a second lip liner in Naked by Decay. I could probably have used one or the other, but makeup artists, we kind of like to mix our own stuff. It's just the way most of us are. And then I took a little bit of lipstick in the color Faux. And I'm sorry that I'm not showing these products so well. I hope that the listing helps. And this, I think, is when my son came in and started messing with the camera, so it got a little shaky. But I'm just using a lip brush to apply the lipstick and just kind of smooth it all over. So once I have the lips on and the eyes are done, I thought, you know, we need a little more color in the face, so I went back in with the Chanel bronzer. And then I also added a little bit of MAC blush in Mocha, because sometimes if your lips have color on them and your cheeks don't, it can look a little strange, so I wanted to kind of match it all up, and I thought this Mocha color would be the perfect complement to the Orgasm liquid blush. So that is pretty much it. Farah seemed to like it, so that made me happy. And I hope you guys like the look. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below and let me know what you think.